complexion. Mama birthed the king, immaculate conception. I survived in the darkness and the shadows of death. And through all that I prospered, they formed every weapon. But I came so thorough, never changed my wardrobe. Took every scar with honor. I was raised in the burrow. Now I'm giving to me from the belly of the beast. I'm just paying respects. I'm just speaking my piece.
All right, so what's up, everybody? It's your boy Quay with another episode of the Quality Time Podcast. Today, I have somebody who I've known for a while, well over a decade now. I've seen her growth and progress at a crazy acceleration rate, in my opinion. Someone who I respect, not only for being a great woman, but also having great opinions on topics that I like to talk about. She wears many hats and she has many letters behind her name. Most of these letters that I would not attempt to badger. I consider her a true friend. And again, someone who epitomizes growth and reinventing yourself because of their or her ambitions. So without any further ado, I would like to welcome you all to the Quality Time Podcast and introduce you to Miss Mary Jackson. How are you doing?
I'm fine. Hi, guys. First of all, thank you so much for having me. When you hit me up and asked me, I was like, come on now, we people. So as he said, many letters. My name is Mary P. Jackson, MSW, LCSWA, SOTP, and what's the last one? CFI. So that's Mary Jackson, Master of Social Work, Licensed Clinical Social Worker, Sexual Offender Treatment Provider, and Certified Forensic Child Interviewer. I think that's all of them. Did I get all of them? Yes, that's all of them for right now.
All right. And again, see, I would have never been able to do that the correct way or get it right. So I'm glad I left that to you. But with those letters and those great accomplishments behind your name, the first question I always ask everybody is who are you? So who is Mary Jackson?
Mary Jackson is a girl from a very small town, which you've been there, you know it's very small town that had great ambitions to spread mental health awareness to the people in the hood, because that is something that we don't have.
All right. And like you hit on, it is, again, I reached out to you probably last month sometime, and I knew Mental Health Awareness Month was coming up. So that was something that, again, I take very important. And I know you hold, very highly and very important in our community. So I wanted to make sure if I didn't get you on any other month or any other time, that this month was the month that I knew I had to have you on because of the importance of this month. So I want to ask, so what made you, again, you said you had that ambition, to spread that awareness in the hood and in our community about, mental health and things like that. But what was when did you know that is what, these are the avenues that you wanted to take with? Because you could have stopped at, one set of letters, but you continue to add on. So what made you say, this is what I want to do. This is where I want to go.
So for mental health, my mom struggles with bipolar and a schizoaffective disorder. She's had that diagnosis since I was a very little girl. And then my middle son has high functioning autism. So that was, being able to understand these things was something that was always something that I wanted to do. Then I'm very transparent about my struggles. I am a survivor, no victim of childhood sexual trauma. So when I started getting my letters and, doing all of these certifications and trainings, I knew that I wanted to do something that was centered along, sexual assault and things like that, because representation matters. And I feel like in order for these kids to come in and disclose stuff to me, that it helps to see somebody that looks like them. So the sexual offender treatment provider training that I have is just what it sounds like. I work with, instead of the victims, which I work with them too, I also work with the people that perpetrate these crimes. And you don't find too many people that want to work with the people that perpetrate these crimes. And when I say the perpetrators, I mean the pedophiles, the rapists, the sexual offenders. I am one of the people, there's not a lot of us, because again, nobody wants to do that. I am one of the people that offer therapy, and it's a specific type of therapy that they have to have So I got that training, and then the child forensic interviewers training is, again, just what it sounds like. I am one of the people that is able to interview a child, interview a child that has been sexually assaulted. I am who, would come in and do the actual forensic interview for the child, ask those types of questions.
Okay. So I didn't know about the interviewer part or the treatment part for the perpetrators. I never even thought about like the people that did that until just now. Like, that's not even something I ever I never said, who gives these people therapy or who talks to these people. But why do you feel that it was important for you to do that, especially being a survivor? I know what I don't know, but I could just imagine like an emotional attachment to that type of situation could sometimes, make you feel like, I don't care who helps these people or if they ever get any help. So what made you say I can do this and I can be one of those people to be able to talk to them?
Oh man, it was a struggle. It's something that I debated with myself with, long and hard. It's just, excuse me, I just got finished eating, sorry. It's something that I debated with myself on. I ran it past my tribe, people that are close to me, telling them, I'm gonna take this training, and everybody that knows me was like, you sure you want to do that? Like, that's a lot. And, I get a lot of God bless you because I couldn't do it and stuff like that. One, I wanted to get a better understanding of how these people operate. One thing with me is if I can learn how they function, then maybe I can prevent somebody else from being offended on them, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Like I said, it's very extensive, the type of questions that you have to ask, the demographics, the way that you conduct these interviews. Until I took the training, I never knew that there were different types of rapists, different types of pedophiles, different type, the way that they charge the crime, it's so many different levels to it. And I wanted a better understanding of that. The child forensic interviewing, like I said, for me, representation matters. For my internship in grad school, I worked at a place called Crossroads Sexual Assault. And I worked with trafficking victims and a lot of kids that, have been offended on. And so I wanted to be the person that these kids could come in and talk to and disclose to. And representation matters. Like, I can't stress that enough, that being able to disclose to somebody that looks like you, I feel like it makes them more comfortable to disclose and give the information that's needed to help them, along the process. It's a journey. So it's a lot. I haven't had to put it into practice yet as far as the sexual offender treatment provider stuff. And that's mostly because a lot of people, like you said, a lot of people don't even know such a thing exists. Right. It's here unless you're involved in that. If you're somebody that is an offender, this is the type of therapy that they're going to recommend for you. But unless you're, kind of sort of in that, nobody even knows it exists. And the pickings for the people that do it is not a lot of us. I know of one other person here in Greensboro that does it.
And again, like, I didn't know it existed until just now. Like, so now I'm going to go look more into it to actually see, because like you said, that has to be, for, it's not even just yourself, but those who are involved that may have had, either themselves or family members. That's something that that you have to consult with everybody. Like you said, you consulted with your tribe and everybody around, and you got those like, are you sure? Because that's not something you just can say, yeah, I'm cool with it, let's do it. Like, you have to really consider everything, and you have to consider your emotions about the situation more than anybody else's. So I salute you for it. And I know, me knowing you, I know that you're going to do it to the best of your ability for the right reasons.
Thank you.
But so like I said in the beginning, we've known each other for a while now. I've been trying to think about like the year that it was.
I don't even have any idea. It's been for, what's funny?
I want to say like 2007, 2008.
Today is Kyrie's birthday. He turns 8 today. So that should give you, it's been over a decade.
Yeah. I want to say like 2007, 2008-ish time frame. maybe, yeah, I'll leave it at that. That sounds pretty accurate. And like that was right around the time when I remember you started school, and not to get too personal, too deep, but like we used to have talks about it, and you used to, be like, Quay, I don't know, what is, and I would just say, you got this, you good. Like I never gave you the chance to just go in depth and, run down. I'd be like, Mary, chill out. You got it. Just keep going. Good. You're going to be good. And then I looked up, I went off and did my thing. And then I look up and it's like, she's still in school. She's still in school. Oh my
8
God.
years.
And it was like, to me, it was amazing. Like, I was like, I always, like, I hit you up from time to time and tell you I'm proud of you, because I always knew once you started that you were going to do whatever you wanted to do. I just didn't know the end goal. And I'm not sure if you even, knew from that beginning point, but now that you are here and you where you are in, in the moment of what you're doing and what path you chose, do you see this as like your calling?
Absolutely. I'll tell anybody, I plan on doing this therapy. I plan on doing therapy literally until the day I die. I was just telling some people the other day, I could see myself sitting in my little recliner at the nursing home, still with my little notebook. How does that make you feel? Tell me about that. Like this, I feel like this is exactly what I was supposed to be doing. I'm hard on myself because I was a non-traditional student, being so much older than a lot of people that I was in school with. But yeah, I can't see myself doing anything different at all. Like this is exactly what I'm supposed to be doing.
Cool. And again, like I know that you're gonna continue to be great at it, because I was surprised, but I was never shocked. Like, if that makes sense. Like I was just like, okay, I see now. I see where I know where it started. Now I see where it's going. But I was never just like, I can't believe she's doing this. I was like, I can't believe she's doing this. Like, it was I just, because I always seen it. I always knew it was there. You always had that motivation, that drive, and that ambition.
I don't know. Math was about to take me down. If you hadn't helped me with that math, that first degree, it would have been out of here for me. That first degree was what set it off. If I hadn't got that, it wouldn't have been no A&T and no Central or none of that. I'd have had to call it quits.
You were fine. It was more self-doubt than ability. And I knew that. And I didn't want to I wasn't going to be a part of it. No, I don't. Just, you got it. Go ahead. and now look again, like, look at us now. So what is, again, you wear a lot of hats, you do a lot of different things, but what is most important to you overall about mental health, especially in the Black community?
Spreading awareness. Spreading awareness and making it something that's more feasible and tangible for us. Black people always think that therapy is for white folks. That's number one. And number two, we are very much in the mindset that we don't need it. We don't need it. You can pray it away, you can drink it away, you can smoke it away, you can do whatever, not understanding that therapy is a huge help. So my two biggest goals right now is, other than, me actually practicing, which is, that takes up majority of my time because I do that 5 days a week, is actually spreading awareness and, making it something that we can afford. A lot of people don't know that Medicaid will pay for therapy. They pay for a lot of therapy. There are certain practices, certain fundings that are set aside, even some therapists that take cases pro bono, just because we all have a servant's heart, stuff like that. So just to make it a little more obtainable. And I want people to understand that there's no shame in it.
Yes.
No shame in therapy. Please get therapy.
Yes. And I agree. Like it, and I think, especially this generation, our generation has got the ball rolling on awareness, because I can remember a time in my life I didn't even understand what therapy was, especially, younger. You would, like you said, you would hear about it, and it was always related to either, somebody's crazy or white people. It was never just, hey, I'm finna go talk to my therapist and, see what, just have that mental workout. Because like now I look at it as the same as going to the gym, like I look at it as, if I'm going to exercise my body, I'm going to eat right, I'm going to do all this stuff to make my body right. then why shouldn't I do the same thing for my mental health and for my mind, for my brain? And, you know, just to be able to not, you know, me personally, not hold a lot of stuff in, you know, and be able to vent and be able to talk. So I think that awareness now is getting to a point where we're beginning to not be afraid to say the word therapy, because for a long, like you said, for a long time, it was kind of like looked at as, oh, I don't need therapy. You know, I'm gonna, you know, pray and give it to God. And again, all those things are great. I don't knock anybody's way of, you know, healing or dealing, but there's some things that you have to be able to express, and you have to have somebody else there to help you express them, because you don't even know how. And like you said earlier, like it's not just one thing that dictates mental health. It's not saying you have a issue. It's not saying you have a problem, but there are a lot of things that fall under the umbrella of mental health that we just don't know. You know, like childhood trauma, you know, things that happen in our daily lives that we want to deal with. And, you know, a lot of times, I know me, for a long time, I would lash out about stuff. Like I would have a emotional reaction to things. And as I got older, I realized, like, all right, maybe it's something here that I don't understand, you know, and I can't just go talk to, you know, I love her today. I can't just go talk to my mom about or my homeboys about. Maybe I need to just go talk to somebody else. And over that
talk
time,
to the lady.
Yeah, you know, over that time, it's like, okay, I get it now. It's not bad. Like, why would I not do this if I care about myself, you know, or and those around me? And I think I just always, since that time, I've always wanted to try to, you know, spread the awareness without feeling like I don't want to force anybody to do anything. I'm not going to force anybody, but I'm going to make it known, like, it's not what you may think it is if you don't have a clear understanding. So I definitely will continue to do my part. And, you know, like I said, we have conversations off the cuff about different things, and it just gives me more insight. Or sometimes I don't even join in your conversations. I'll just sit back and listen and, you know, think about it. And then I might go discuss it in a whole different circle of people. But now I have a knowledge of it because I got it from someone who I know has a understanding of it. So that's a big part. And again, that's why I wanted you here for this on this episode, because it's Mental Health Awareness Month, and awareness is the beginning of everything.
Mm-hmm.
And as your shirt, you know, said, you know, have hippie, have hood, and your tag on social media is the
half hippie, half hood, a whole therapist.
A whole therapist. and your tag on social media is the Hood Hippie Therapist. Where, like, how did you come up with that? Because, you know, me, I always told you it was dope, but how did you come up with that?
So I'm a hippie without the weed smoke. Want to put that out there in case anybody from my job see this. I ain't chiefing. That's not what that means. I'm very eclectic when it comes to what I do and my practice. I'm very yoga, very meditation, very crystal. I usually have my little amethyst necklace on. I ain't wear it today. I'm all of those things, but I'm also very, very hood. I come from the hood. I got it out the mud. The polished person that all your viewers see here sitting today is definitely not who I was 10 or 12 years ago. Very ratchet, but I've always been, you know, a little classy, but still very hood. So I mean, I'm both those things. It took me a while, like even thinking about the whole hippie thing with the spirituality and your stones and meditation and sage. That's, you know, Black people don't really do that. That's not something, you know, I've been told you weird. Okay, that's cool. I can deal with that. Nothing wrong with being weird. So yeah, I'm a little hippie, a little hood, and, you know, put those things together and you have all of this. So, but when I say I'm eclectic in my practice, I am the therapist that's going to talk to you about yoga and meditation. I am the therapist that's going to probably recommend some very unorthodox techniques and skills, because I know that thinking outside the box helps sometimes.
Right.
I think that's one of the things, not even to toot my own horn, but that's what makes me so dope. You know what I mean? Because you don't want to go sit and talk to somebody that's stuffy, and you know what I mean? Like, I feel like my look and everything makes me relatable, and it makes me really good at what I do.
Right. And that you said, I'm going to go to a question that I had, you know, about the relatability part is, you know, I think that it makes sense, somebody that looks like me a lot, you know, it makes it easier for me to be in that type of setting, you know, a therapy type of setting, because there is that automatically, you know, if you're black and I'm black, there's a relation there that even if it goes unsaid, it's there. We know it's there because we're both black. So how do you think someone should go by selecting like who they receive therapy from, or, you know, choosing?
Relatability, somebody that you're comfortable with. Nobody wants to sit and pour out their life story to somebody that they feel like is judging them. Right. It's not always, you know, that you're going to walk in and the first therapist that you talk to is going to be a good fit. And that's okay. Just keep looking. It's like you see a pair of shoes, that pair of shoes don't look right on you. Well, keep looking, because it's another pair of shoes that you're going to find that are exactly what you need. Even though, you know, I pride myself on being eclectic and different, I'm not a good fit for everybody because I don't meet. Now, I'm not even gonna say I don't meet because I'm not what they think that therapy represents. You see what I'm saying? Right. Like I had a client that my name is Mary Jackson. You know what I'm saying? So never seen me before. I'm not on the company website yet. I walk out to get them. I'm like, somebody here to see Mary. And if you would have seen this person's face light up, like, and so we go back, you know, in my office, and the person is like, you don't look like what I thought you would look like. And I was like, yeah, it's pretty dope, right? Yeah. This was a Friday. I had on jeans, I had on a pair of Air Max, you know, a t-shirt, my tattoos and everything are showing. And this person also black, bunch of tattoos. So now we've already built a connection. You see what I'm saying? You know that I'm like you. Right. So now we can sit down and have a conversation. To me, therapy is a conversation with somebody that doesn't know you, but their end game is to help you be better. So you are getting somebody that's non-judgmental. I can't go tell your business like your homegirl in there might do. Everything you telling me is confidential unless it's 3 things. You're going to hurt somebody, you're hurting yourself, or somebody is hurting you. Those are the 3 things that I have to keep confidential. Other than that, you coming in there and you telling me whatever it is that you feel like I need to know about you and whatever it is that you need to figure out. And I'm going to help you do that. But I'm also providing you a very safe space with somebody that looks like you. Purple hair, multiple piercings, multiple tattoos. It's the relatability. I look like your homegirl, but I'm not your homegirl. I'm your therapist.
Yes. And again, like, I always try to, you know, make it known that I like to focus, you know, my guests and, you know, when I have conversations to my community, because this is what I've known for 33 years is my community. And I've been able to grow and learn and watch and see things in my community that I've learned now that, man, that has never been healthy, or we're not getting the right kind of, you know, assistance or guidance or taught the awareness for different, you know, we, again, a multitude of things that have been on the forefront of, in the Black community, but mental health was one that, you know, always stood out. And even now, when you just have like a normal conversation with your friends or, you know, family members, or I know me personally, like when I ask questions about how things were, or like what was the reason for this when I was younger, now I'm to a point where I can understand, okay, this was what was going on, but it was just, there was no help in place for these situations. It was a lot of things, like we use, you know, the hot word in the last 5 years has been normalized. We know everything was normalized back then.
Can we normalize?
Yeah, but everything was normalized back then. It was, you know, hey, whatever happens in this house stays in this house. Whatever we say goes. You know, don't say this outside of here. You know, everything was. It was kept too close to, you know, to the breast of everybody. Nobody wanted anybody in their business. And I feel like now, you know, being a father and knowing that the next generation, even, you know, the generation after my son, if I don't do my part to try to, you know, fix what I can fix, it's going to continue to go on. So how do you think that stigma and that, you know, I guess, I don't even know how to put it, normalization of things that were what they were toxic back in the day. Yeah, toxic. How do you think that back then impacts us now? And like, if the awareness, you know, as much as people want to make it aware and spread it, if it's not like a buy-in, how do you think it will continue to go on? Because, and I feel like that, you know, again, another key buzzword that goes on, buzz phrase, is generational curses. Most of the time when I talk to people, when I hear people use that phrase, it's always related to money. It's always related to money. And I've always, for the longest, told people there are way more generational curses than money.
Way more.
You can be rich, you can be wealthy, whatever you want to call it, and still deal with multiple generational curses, one being mental health. So if those generational curses don't get addressed, how do you think they will continue to affect us now, or how are they affecting us now, and how will they affect the future generation?
It's gonna, if there's no change, then it's just gonna continue to be ridiculous. A lot of things that happen in the Black community, like you said, we've normalized them, and it's not normal. It's not normal to be nervous when the police pull you over. It's not normal for your heart to race like that. It's not normal to not want to call the police because you're scared that they're gonna kill you. That's not normal. It's not normal to grow up with a parent that's an addict. That's not normal. It's not normal to grow up in a home where you're beat. And as much as we've normalized whoopings in the Black community, there's a whooping, and then there's that extension cord stuff. That's not normal. It's not normal to grow up in a house, like you were just saying, with the whole what goes on here stays here, and you getting the little girls that are being molested by the cousins and the uncles and the brothers, but she doesn't know who to go talk to because she's always been told that she can't say anything outside of the household. So it can just those are the generational curses that we're talking about. Why would you want that to continue? Why would you want that cycle of abuse to continue? Why is that okay? Why do we not recognize the anxiety and the fear that we feel from the police as post-traumatic stress? Yes. Why do we not think about, the person that we know that was fine, quote unquote, up until they hit maybe their late teens, early 20s, and then they just started tripping, and now they smoking and drinking and stuff all the time, and you can't really figure out what's wrong with them? Why are we not recognizing that as bipolar disorder or depressive mood syndrome or oppositional defiance disorder? These are things, and these are things that are happening, but because we don't have the awareness, we don't recognize the symptoms, we just continue to pass them off as just normal. And that's not okay. I think about the old movie Soul Food with the uncle that stayed in the back room all the time. And what was wrong? Uncle had some kind of PTSD from something, or maybe some kind of mood depressive disorder. And that's why he stayed away from people. It's just so many things that happen in our community that we don't think about them as being mental health issues. Like I said, the little girl or even a little boy, because they touch little boys too. These kids that are being traumatized, and it's just being made to seem like that's something that just happens. Yes, it is something that just happens, but it's also something that's wrong with it. So let's talk about that so that it doesn't continue to be a thing. Let's talk about, the parent or the uncle or the homegirl or the homeboy that has these moods that you can't really put your finger on what's wrong with him, but it's something wrong. Oh, nigga, just crazy. He just a little off. Maybe it's some mental health issues going on. Maybe we should get them into therapy instead of allowing them to drink and smoke themselves or even sex themselves into an oblivion because they don't know how to cope or who to go talk to about these issues.
Yes, I agree. I feel like, again, that is the awareness. Like, we see it, we've seen it, we grew up with it, we survived it, we've lived it, but we know it's not done. But if we don't do our part to say, hey, I know this has happened, this happens in households and schools and different environments, and we just continue to turn a blind eye to it because now we feel like, well, I made it through, they'll be all right. I don't think that's not the right approach. If we
Absolutely not.
If we know better, then we're supposed to do better.
You're supposed to do better. And that's the type of generational curses. It's so many things that come along with mental health that we don't even think about. Do you know how hard it is for a kid to sit in school and concentrate and get good grades if they mama ain't home, or they mama is an addict, or they daddy whooping their ass, or they being molested? So then you got this kid that's in school showing out. But the kid is showing out not because they're a bad kid. It's because they got some issues going on at home that they don't know how to cope with. Could even be that they're hungry.
Yep.
Those are things, but we're so quick to brush it off. Oh, he just bad. Oh, she just fast. Oh, they just this. Oh, they just that. And we see it, like you said, we see it. We just don't know the correct terms and words to put with it. Right. And if two people sitting down having a conversation like this is what it takes to get that type of awareness out there, I'll do this every single day because it is something that's important. Like you said, we gotta start breaking these generational curses, and it starts right here. Like the generational curses that I can stop in my family, stop with me. They stop with my cousin. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not gonna continue if we see it and we know that it's not right. Why are we continuing on with this? I don't understand that mindset of they'll be all right. No, they won't.
Nope.
And they're just gonna pass that trauma on to somebody else.
And you saying they'll be all right when either you or somebody you know that's dealt with that same thing, you know, they aren't all right, or, you know, I don't get it. I think a lot of it comes from, like you said, not knowing, but I think a lot of it also comes from fearing like what you're gonna uncover and having to dive deep into these situations because it's always been brushed off. It's always been brushed off. And, you know, I don't point fingers, but, you know, great grandparents and grandparents, they came out of a situation that we didn't directly come out of, which was slavery, Jim Crow. So those mental health issues and challenges that they had to deal with alone, you know, that is, you know, in terms of what has birthed a lot of the things that have went on and continue to go on because of how, you know, just how generations were born and, you know, things were taught and people were shown certain things from, you know, outside entities that they couldn't control. And it became normal to us because that was the beginning of, okay, this is all we know. We got to take this and we got to build with it. And a lot of it was fucked up at the end of the day. It was a lot of fucked up shit going on that unfortunately has to continue to work itself out of the genetics because it's not just something that just happens. It's been passed down through generations. That's why
it's been passed on, and it's like religion. It's been so ingrained in you, you don't know how to get away from it. You know what I'm saying? You don't know how to get that out your system. You don't know how to purge it out your system. And it's not an overnight process. Therapy is a journey for anybody. Right. It's not anything that's going to happen overnight, and it definitely takes work. But if people would sit and actually have the conversations and just think about some of the ways that we react to things or some of the ways that we act to things, it's amazing the correlation that you would be able to make. I had read a book in undergrad. I think I want to say it was Post-Traumatic Slave. It might not have been that one. Anyway, it was a book. I'll look it up and tell you what it was later. So it was written by a Black woman, a therapist, and she was talking about she would be in the store, and you know she would have her children with her, and somebody would come up and tell her how well behaved her children was, right? And she would downplay her children. Oh yeah, they act like that now, but you get them home and they do this and they bad as hell, blah, 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 right? So when she brought it full circle for me, it blew my mind. She said that as Black parents, we tend to downplay our children's accomplishments to keep them close to us, because back during the days of slavery, if someone, you know, would come up and give you a compliment about how well behaved your child is, they're trying to take your child and make them a docile slave as well. So we have just internalized this downplaying our kids' ability to keep them close to us because we don't want them, you know, shuffled off. It was just crazy, the correlation like that for me. Like, that's why now I believe in giving. I'm gonna celebrate myself. You know, I'm real big on, honey, look at this accomplishment. Look at this. Look at all of these. I'm gonna celebrate my kids. You seen, you know, my Facebook. Look at Malachi. Yep. Look at this boy. That boy can run. I'm gonna celebrate my kids because I never want my kids to feel less than. And downplaying your kid like that because you want to keep your child close to you because of something that happened generations ago. Now you sitting here with your child beside you, and this child is listening to you tell somebody else about how they bad as hell, even though they're a good kid. So now your child is internalizing, am I bad as hell? What did I do that was bad? So now you set the chord for this kid. You set this kid up for failure inadvertently for something that you thought you was doing a good thing.
Yep.
You just set your kid up for failure. Am I bad as hell? What I do? I'm standing here being good, but it goes back generations of shit that we wouldn't even think about. You know what I'm saying? I would have never put that together the way that she did in that book. And when I read it, it was like, God, dog, is that really where this came from? That's crazy.
Yep, it is.
Generation.
And the more stuff you learn and you read or you hear, you can start to see the connections to it. Like I know why this is like this, like, and again, all of us, we all have, we all have a mental health. It's not saying that you have a mental health issue. We all have a mental health, just like we all have a health. You go to the doctor and they say, hey, your blood pressure is high. You need to do something to get your blood pressure fixed. Either you do something to get your blood pressure fixed, or it's going to get worse. It's the same thing. You have thoughts or whatever. You just like, hey, I want to, just have a mental health checkup. Let me find somebody to talk to. And like you said, it may not be the first person. You may not be comfortable with the first person. It's the new experience. It may take you a while to even open up to the person that you choose. But attempting to do that, I know, like, again, for me, like, I don't want to take stuff that I can handle and fix and pass it off to my son. Like, I don't feel like if I love my son the way that I know I love my son and everybody else knows I love my son, then am I going to do as right by him as I can? Or I'm just going to be like, well, he'll be all right. It's not going to affect him as much, because that's, and again, I don't point fingers, but that's what we do. Like, that's what we do. Even like you just said with the whole story of us, internalizing that if we praise our children, they would be taken away from us. Somebody could hear that and be like, I don't believe that. That's not true. And they'll run with that and they'll continue to do it. And then it'll manifest into their kids and their great-grandkids, but it'll never be brought to the light because they just choose not to exercise it or, care about it. But me, I want to, whenever I have, like something, I'll be like, I can't deal with this on my own. I got to talk to somebody about it, or, practice different things like meditation. Like you said, like there's different things to exercise my brain, because if I don't, then it's just going to manifest, it's going to linger, it's going to turn into something else, it's going to add on to other issues, it's going to create issues, and that's not healthy. That's not healthy for me, it's not healthy for those around me. And that's something, again, it took me time to learn. So I'm not saying you're going to wake up tomorrow and say, all right, Quay and Mary was right, let me go. Like, nah, it take time. I didn't want to talk to nobody. I don't talk to people as it is if I don't know you. But it took a point where I was like, I gotta talk to somebody just to get what I'm feeling off my chest and see what comes from it. And it has been a benefit more than anything else.
Yeah, it's an amazing feeling to go and sit down in front of somebody and literally be able to unload whatever it is that's on your mind and know that this person ain't here to judge you and that they can't go tell nobody else.
Exactly.
I have a wonderful tribe of friends, but don't nobody tell nobody everything. You know what I'm saying? And some stuff you want to hold close to the chest. So to do that with a therapist, you can literally walk in there and spill your guts. Like I said, as long as you ain't about to hurt yourself, as long as you ain't hurting nobody, and as long as nobody's hurting you, everything that you want to talk about, let's talk about it. This is your session. Therapy is client-led. It's, based on, I don't have an agenda with my clients per se. I do have a feelings wheel. I wish I never remember my feelings wheel. I have a feelings wheel, got all the feelings on there. So I start every session with, look at your feelings wheel. Give me a feeling. How you feeling today? And that's how we're going to start the session. We're going to process whatever feeling it is that you're feeling. Then if you want to get into something else, if you want to tell me about some past trauma, all right, let's work through that. Let's, what is it about this? You want some coping techniques? Let's get into that. But it's a good feeling to know that you have somebody whose sole purpose is to help you figure out what's going on. That's all my job is.
Yep. And that's, again, like I can't say it enough. It's what you would do with any other aspect of your life if you want to get something in shape or you want something to work better. If you want your car to run better, you're going to make sure that you always get your checkups on time and everything like that. It's the same thing with your body, and your mind is the strongest muscle in your body. So if that muscle is out of whack, then your body's going to be out of whack.
Absolutely.
It's common sense, The next question I have with you, is since you do therapy, you do the social work, you have these, clients that you have to, you talk to, and I don't like saying deal with, but you work with, you help and things like that. And I'm always say, you're a superhero to me. But all superheroes, they have, you're gonna deal with stuff, So how do you deal with your own mental health? Like, how do you know when it's time? Maybe I need to take a couple of days away from everybody else and go check on Mary. How do you deal with that?
I will say that I work for a wonderful company. All women of color, Black woman owned company. She's real big on us not working outside the office. Don't take no work home with you. Don't you work on the weekend. I done got in trouble for it. Just Friday, like, girl, why is you taking that home? So that's one thing is I check work at work. I try to make it my business to leave work at work. That's one thing. I do talk to my tribe. I had a therapist. I'm actually in the process of trying to transition to another one because my therapist was in Durham. We're in the age of virtual, and you can see them. You can see us any type of way now. I got clients, I FaceTime, whatever. So therapy. I have a therapist. I started working out like 2 months ago, going to the gym. Out of all of that though, my granddaughter is my happy. So just being able to be around, energy is everything. And being able to be around somebody who she doesn't have a care in the world right now. She's one. All she knows is that Nana love her, she love Nana, and Nana gonna do whatever it is to make her happy. So she's part of my therapy. Cooking is, something that I love to do. So I stay in the kitchen. I'll cut my little podcast on. I'm gonna get in the kitchen and I'm gonna cook. I write when I feel like it. I read. Like the older that I've, gotten and the more that I've gotten into my career, the more I understand just how important self-care is. Because I can't imagine doing what I do and not having an outlet. I hear some of the worst of the worst. So if I can't imagine having to hold all of that in and not having an outlet. So I have multiple things that I do for self-care. Going to go get my nails done. I can't answer the phone while I'm getting my nails done because I can't. I go get a massage. My homegirl is my massage therapist. Shout out Reagan. Be your after. She didn't ask me to do that, but I just figured I would. Nice, cool. She she won't allow you to keep your smartwatch on or anything on when you come in her room to get a massage. It's all about your experience with her. So that's a great form of self-care. Just you have to unplug from everything. No watches, no phones, no. Girl, go to sleep. That's her thing. Don't talk. Go to sleep. You're supposed to be here to relax. Let's do what you came here to do. So different forms of self-care for me. I for a while, I struggled with self-care because I do want to fix everything and I do wear so many hats and I am a little bit of everything to everybody. But I had to start learning to take a step back because I was about to wear myself out.
Right. And I asked that question because, a lot of times people say, well, how is this person going to help me? Blah, blah, they have stuff themselves, and that's human. That's any job, like.
That would be like asking, how am I going to fix your car?
Exactly. It relates to any job. It relates to any career. Everybody has to figure a way to get something in their career from somebody else at some point in time. And it's no different. If you're a human being, you just because you're doing a service to help people doesn't mean you might not need. And again, the help word, don't take it out of context. Is you're helping them deal with whatever they're dealing with. And now, okay, I could be dealing with something totally different on a smaller scale, but let me talk to somebody about my issues as well, because you can't do it to yourself. I hear that sometimes and I don't understand it. I feel like it's just a way to like,
it's a cop-out.
Like the counter it, like, well, it doesn't work because of this, but all right. I hope my doctor doesn't perform surgery on himself. That's all I can say,
Right.
Like that's how I view it.
Right. Find somebody to talk to. Like I tell anybody, my favorite thing to tell my clients, at the first session with them is I don't have the answers. I'm not Sway. I don't have the answers. But it is a journey. And if you want to walk this journey, I'm here to walk it with you. I don't have all the answers. I'm not going to sit here and like I'm going to fix your life like that other lady that's not a real therapist on TV be telling people. But I am here to help. And me being, that cognizant of what I have going on, I also know that sometimes I need help and I have to go talk to somebody. And that's another part in the whole destigma. Like, yeah, your favorite therapist has a therapist, as my homegirl would say, like, yeah, we have therapists as well. I don't know too many therapists that don't, because for the same reason that people come to us, the confidentiality and things of that nature, we also need somebody that, you know, I can go talk to somebody about this confidential stuff I can't tell anybody. I know you can't tell anybody either. So we just gonna all keep it a secret.
Exactly. And it, you know, and that's the way it should be. Like, it should be your therapist, your favorite therapist should have a therapist, because now you know they're practicing what they preach more than anything.
Right, exactly.
So I have just a couple more questions. So one question that is I didn't write, but I was thinking about it as we were talking. How do you think, in this age that we're in, the technology age, how do you think social media has affected the mental health of the generation of the internet and the generation, you know, to come? How do you think social media has affected? I can give my opinion on it.
You want to give your opinion first?
My opinion is that social media has given everybody, of course, everybody has a voice on social media, and it makes it hard for people to turn off those voices and opinions on social media. And as much as social media was created for positive reasons, as staying connected with friends and family and loved ones, and being able to, you know, just post, you know, your life and things like that, it has been used a lot for negative. And I think we, again, the generational curses phrase, we are drawn to that negative more than we drawn to the positive. So I think it has the same benefits that it came with, but I think it's used for a lot more evil, and people know how to manipulate it for that evil. And it's the more that it is used, that it's gonna, like, you know me, like, I'll take a break from social media tonight and I'll be back when I come back. Like, that's just something I know I have to do, because I know me. But I don't think a lot of people know that, or they practice it or understand why people do it. But I think it's like, I think it's really addictive. I think social media is addictive.
Absolutely.
Like nicotine,
absolutely,
like drugs, addictive. I think it's addictive. I don't know how to go deeper into it, but like mentally addictive, it's stimulating. You know, like.
So I had put up a post on Facebook probably just like a month or so ago, and was like, you know, the DSM, which is the Diagnostic Statistical Manual of Mental Health Disorders, really big book. I got one. I got a PDF. I have a hardback. All of that. What that is it's the Bible of psychology, is what I call it. It has every mental health diagnosis you can think of in there. And that's what I use. That's what therapists, psychiatrists, psychologists, that's what we all use to diagnose people, right? So it changes every few years. Right now, we're on the DSM-5. There was a DSM-1, 2, 3. Like every few years, they, you know, modify, talk about, you know, different things that have come about. The DSM-6 is going to have a diagnosis in there for something affiliated with social media addiction. I'm a firm believer in that. I got my undergrad degree in psychology from A&T, and Professor Dr. Robinson, he had us, you know, doing surveys and stuff like that. And one of the surveys that he had us read about was the chemical, whenever you get a like on Facebook or Instagram or something like that, you literally get a rush of a happy hormone. So people are now living for that happy hormone. And if you don't get that hormone, you're sad. Yep. It's crazy that that's where we are now, that this is like you said, it's an addiction. People are addicted to social media. It has given a lot of people voices that shouldn't really have one. Derek Jackson, with all his relationship advice and all of that kind of stuff, this dude has not nan degree in nothing. And I ain't want to knock nobody and say what somebody should or shouldn't be doing, but how are you taking advice from somebody that has no specialty in that? It blew my mind that so many people that not therapy, with me having 8 years of school and all of these trainings, you would tell me that you don't want to come talk to me, but you're going to sit on YouTube and Facebook and listen to this dude and apply what he's telling you to your life. Yep. And Yana, fix my life. She's not a therapist. She's a life coach. I ain't going to take that from her. But the skills and techniques and the interventions that she employs with these people on TV, we wouldn't dare put into practice. we could lose our license for that types of foolishness. But people buy into it because it's good TV, it's good social media, it's good for likes and clicks, it's good for something to talk about. That's dangerous.
Yep.
That's dangerous as hell for you to be sitting up. Are you gonna take? I can't tell a heart surgeon, like you say, I can't tell a heart surgeon how to perform heart surgery, but people are so comfortable getting on social media, giving their opinions about things that they don't really have any knowledge on. And people are buying into it. And so it's just, you know, the likes and clicks, and that's so dangerous. It's scary just how dangerous it is.
Yes, it is. And I always speak from a point of reference of myself. Like I used to be, you know me, I have opinions about things that I am passionate about or that I know about. And I used to, you know, feel like, why do people not listen to me? You know, like I'm making sense. I'm not crazy. But then after I looked inward and looked in the mirror, I started to be like, well, I don't like listening to nobody on social media either. So why should they listen to me? But I started saying, I can still have an opinion. I make sure I do as much understanding or get as much understanding of things that I can before I voice my opinion now. And I'm more calculated with the stuff that I talk about and want to have my opinion about. But it took like you said, like situations like that where even like you can see like why would people listen to these people just because they have a following? Because more than anything, it's the following. It's not even the message, it's the following. Like you have a following
and the way that they brand themselves to be something. Like I said, I've had conversations with people that really think that Inyala is a therapist. From where? What code of ethics is like? No, she's not. Like, and to be a licensed clinical social worker, I have a legitimate written set of standards and ethics that I'm held to, and that I could lose my license for not practicing under these ethics and standards. I have a state board test I had to pass in order to even be able to say, not only that, I had a state test I had to pass. Then you have to put in 3,000 hours of clinical practice under somebody else's license. If you can't do those two things in the state of North Carolina, you can't be a therapist, period, point blank. You can be a master of social work. Those are two different titles. Right. You can be a master. You cannot be a licensed clinical social worker, which is a therapist. But Derrick Jackson and all of these, like they get and they brand themselves as gurus. You know what I'm saying? That he's a love guru. He's a relationship guru. He's a nigga with an opinion. Yep. And I ain't mad at it. Like, get your coin, but also be cognizant of the damage that you're doing. Also be cognizant of the stereotypes and things like that you're going to continue to put out there that are going to be harmful. Right. Because this dude's not practicing what he preaches. And Yana, like I said, she's not a therapist, but it makes for good TV. So let's just keep the ball rolling. And instead of going to go get some real therapy, you going on here expecting this lady to fix your life in 60 minutes when 60 minutes is an intake session with me. That's just me sitting down asking you demographic questions.
Right.
How does that work?
Yep. and again, like I think social media is great. I think the internet, all the tools that we got, like being able to do this, everything is great. But I learned that I have to do it in moderation. And my moderation is different. It could be, like I said, I could, I don't feel like doing this for a while. I just shut down my whole thing for 2-3 months at a time, a week maybe. It just depends. It could be a week, and I'm like, all right, I'm cool now. I'm back on my square. But I think it, like you said, that addiction piece is real, and especially for the youth now, because that's all they know. Like they don't know pre-social media. They don't know how to go grab the house phone off the wall and have to call their friend and talk about the day and recall everything. It's just now every time something happens, either I'm taking a picture of my whole life at every second of it, or I'm texting.
Everything is happening right then.
Yeah. So
and, me and Craig, we always talk about being able to make mistakes in private. How we were. Sorry. Hey, AJ.
What's up, AJ?
How we were able to make mistakes in private because there was no social media. There wasn't no camera phones for you to sit there and get everything, as it was going on. Imagine how different your life would be if everything that you've done, every fight, every crime, every anything, somebody had it. And not only did they have it, they put it out there for everybody else to see. These kids aren't allowed to make mistakes in private anymore. Everything is up for the public. Everything.
Everybody wants their TV show. They want their TV show because that's what it is. You have a personal TV show on your phone. You can go live. And and
everybody, people aren't allowed to make mistakes in private anymore. That's one thing. People are doing it's becoming addictive. People that probably shouldn't have an opinion do. It's so many things wrong with social media, and I can't knock it all, because without this technology, without social media, like you said, we wouldn't be able to sit and have a conversation like this and put it out there for others. So it has its pros and cons, but not everybody is cognizant like you that can know when to step away. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That can know when to shut down for, this is, I don't want to deal with this right now. Let me log out for 2 hours, 2 days, 2 months. Yep. So they keep, they build so much on their social media platforms. And then you got to also take it a whole nother level, a whole nother way, as the stuff that we expose ourselves to on social media. I'm real big on talking about trauma porn, being exposed to the beatings and the killings and the fightings and the shootings. That is, you're setting yourself up for post-traumatic stress disorder. You're setting yourself up for a mental health issue, because they're going to put it out there. I never watched the George Floyd video. Still to this day, me neither. I haven't watched it, because that's trauma for me. You're literally watching somebody die. Yep. That's not normal. It's not normal. It's not when, what's my man's name that got shot in the car on Facebook Live? Like, he was reaching for it. He was telling him he had a gun, and
I spoke about it up here too. I can't remember.
No disrespect to his family, anything like that. I'm sorry, I just can't call his name right now. I watched that as it was happening, because it had been shared so many times, and didn't realize that what I was seeing was real. You just watch somebody die on social media. How is that not a traumatic? Watching somebody die, period, is a traumatic experience. And then you're being exposed to it repeatedly because it's being shared so many times. You're just going to keep seeing it. How does that not set you up for some type of trauma? There's nothing normal about watching people die like that.
Nothing. I can't. And again, apologies to his family. Like that was one of the first things that I stopped doing. I can't even tell you the last video that I watched purposefully. Most of the time it's I did just like you say, it's shared so much that you scroll up and it starts playing on your phone. But I've told all my friends, if it's somebody getting killed by the police or something that somebody getting murdered, period, I don't want to see it.
I don't want to see it.
I don't it's not it shouldn't I won't even. It shouldn't be easy to share that. I don't want you to, hey man, look at this person get killed by the police. Because that's, like you said, that's trauma. I don't, nah.
And you're setting yourself up for anxiety. Now, think about it like this. Now, I'm getting on social media because it's fun, and I want to share a picture of my granddaughter, but now I have anxiety because when I get on social media, it might be a video of somebody getting killed. So now I'm anxious, scrolling, trying to scroll quick to make sure I don't run across this type of video. Why is it so easy to put somebody killing somebody out there like that, and then think that it's not going to have a negative effect on somebody's mental? Exactly. That's not normal. That's a traumatic experience. Yep. We're exposing ourselves. There's a thing called vicarious trauma, and vicarious trauma is where you're exposed to trauma third person. It's not your trauma. You can hear it, you can see it, you can read about it. You're exposed vicariously. Now, with that being said, think about how many people right now, because of social media, have experienced vicarious trauma.
Hundreds of millions. Probably almost everybody of a certain age.
Vicarious trauma. You've exposed, and post-traumatic stress, people always think about it, of course, when it comes to the military. Post-traumatic stress is really just what vicarious trauma is. You've been exposed, or you've had some type of trauma happen to you. You were beat, you were raped, your friend was beat or raped. Post-traumatic stress disorder, that is a diagnosis I give people regularly, and they don't even realize that that's what they have. Because, oh, well, yeah, my dad, done da-da-da-da, my mama did da-da-da-da, and yeah, my heart be racing, and I have nightmares, and my hands shake sometimes, and I jump when I hear certain noises. Oh, well, you just met the entire criteria for post-traumatic stress disorder. Let's talk about that.
Yep. And from something that was normalized, that they felt was normal, until they explained it to you, someone
Right.
who could break it down for them. Yep. And that, but again, that was a question that, again, I didn't have written down. But social media, I don't, like, you can't not talk about social media in 2021, because it's everything. Everything runs through social media. Everything. And for parents who have kids, and parents yourselves, like, this is just stuff to be aware of. Like, not gonna touch into it right now. Maybe a different episode, different podcast. The social media bullying, all those things, all those things fall into that same
grooming. That would be a good episode. How a lot of pedophiles and sex traffickers are grooming kids through TikTok videos and DMs on Instagram and stuff like that. Like I said, social media is a gift and a curse. It's a gift and a curse.
Yes. So I have two more questions before like three, but two more really. So what advice would you give to somebody who may watch this and be dealing with something, but not know how to seek help, or not be so open to seeking help, but they know they're dealing with something and they watch this? Like, what would you tell them?
Google is your friend. Use it. Let me put my disclaimer out there that by no means am I trying to diagnose anybody. Don't take nothing that I'm saying right now on here as a diagnosis. That's not how that works. You have to sit down, a conversation, and you have to sit down and have a conversation with the lady, and let the lady really give you a diagnosis. So Google, not Googling your symptoms, trying to give yourself a diagnosis. Google to look for some resources. Google to look for some support groups. Google to, like I said, not diagnose yourself, but maybe get a better understanding of what it is that you have going on, to make you a little more receptive to, okay, so this is what I got going on. This is who I need to go see for that. Because there are different therapists that do different things. Some people are general practice, like a doctor, how some doctors specialize in foot, nose, Some therapists do that. Some are, general therapists, just like there's general family medicine. And then, some of us have our lanes and scopes. So yeah, Google, get a better understanding. If you're not that open, or you don't feel like that's a step that you're ready to take, there are all different types of little websites that will, you got anxiety. Well, maybe you should try this. Maybe you should try to, breathe like this. Maybe you should go exercise. Maybe that's always my go-to. Find your tribe. I tell everybody your tribe is very important. When I say tribe, I mean your circle of your closest friends. Everybody needs a tribe. But at the same time, also recognize that what you have in a tribe, hopefully somebody in your tribe is going to tell you, yeah, honey, so I get what you're saying, but maybe you should go get some therapy. You know what I'm saying? Because your friends can only do so much for you. Even with me being a therapist, I don't practice on my friends and family. One, because it goes against my code of ethics. Two, because I just don't damn want to. I don't want to sit up and listen to your problems all the time and try to figure out how I can help you fix it. That's not what I'm here for. I'm your friend. Find a therapist. Google your tribe, and that's pretty much it. Like, I'm not going to tell anybody, what they should or shouldn't do. I know a lot of people, religion and spirituality is very important. Ground yourself in whatever it is that makes you feel better spiritually, because everybody needs something to believe in, even if you choose to believe in nothing. But again, hopefully somebody that's in, that religious practice is going to be like, yeah, I can listen and I can offer you spiritual support, but maybe you should go talk to a therapist as well.
Right. All right. And if you had one piece, again, before I before I ask this question, and before I let you go, I'm proud of you. Seeing your growth, seeing your trajectory is beyond this world, and I know you're going to continue to go. And I'm not going to be surprised if in a month or 2 months you have some more letters. And I don't know, and I don't know who's going to have your door name or your desk thing, but it's probably going to have to be like extra long. You can be the first person with like an extendo nameplate
just gonna cover the whole desk. It's the whole front of the desk.
But I appreciate you because honestly, you're the first Black therapist that I know, like therapist period, really? but first Black therapist that I actually know, like, wow, that I can like text or call and say I need to talk, or whatever, and not on some therapy stuff, but just I know you, so I know your opinion. I know your education on things is valid. It's not just like we were saying earlier. It's not just you have an opinion. It's something that you study, that you take pride in. It's your craft. It's your career. But if you had one piece of advice for somebody that was thinking about taking, that leap, like you said, thinking about, man, I don't know if this math class is gonna cut it, but if they're thinking about taking that, if they're thinking about taking that leap of faith and going to school and following in your footsteps, say somebody's, a little Black girl watches this, or somebody's daughter watches this and says, I want to do that. I think that's dope. I want to be the next Hood hippie therapist. What would be that one piece of advice for them?
Do it. Do it. Representation matters. They need more of us. We need more of us. We need more people that look like us in this field. We definitely do. Because we're the experts on us. It's hard to go talk to somebody that, imagine you go in and you're talking to a therapist and, it's somebody that's not in your demographic, and you got a code switch, or they stopping you in therapy and like, now what does that mean? Because I never heard that. Come talk to the lady. I'm the lady.
Lady.
Yeah, I'm the lady. They always talking about, they break up. It's the lady say, I'm gonna go talk to the lady. I'm gonna get some help. Stop telling people that and really come talk to the lady. I'm the lady. I would tell any little Black boy, little Black girl, old Black woman, old Black man, whoever, therapy is hard. Therapy can be draining. Therapy, like I said, is vicarious trauma. It's a lot. I don't just sit and listen to somebody's problems. I put in work. You know what I'm saying? Mentally, everything is but it's so worth it. It's so worth. Like, I come home from work and I have my good days and my bad days, but at the end of every day, I always feel like I did exactly what I was supposed to do. No question, ever. I would definitely say that if this is something that you feel like might be an avenue for you, do it. What's the worst that can happen? You don't have nothing beats a fail but a try. So yeah, definitely. If, like I said, it's not easy. Therapists are, people think that therapists make a lot of money. I don't know where the hell y'all got that from. I don't know where that came from. We also pay out a lot of money to keep these licenses valid. So, but at the same time, it's not a vow of poverty either. Social work is not a vow of poverty. So it's money to be made. It's decent money. It's rewarding. And we're needed. They need us. Be the therapist that you wish you had. That's my thing. I want to be to somebody what I wish I would have had, as a 8-year-old little girl that was being abused. I want to be that person that child is so comfortable coming to talk to, because I wish I would have had that at that age. So yeah, do it. Like, nothing beats a fail but a try.
Y'all heard it. Do it. That sounds like something. I think that was my exact words to her in that math class. just do it.
No class has ever stressed me out like math. Like, anytime I get to talk to somebody about all of these degrees, hadn't it been for Quay, I probably wouldn't have been where I'm at right now. Wouldn't be no Hood Hippie Therapist and all of these accolades and credentials and stuff like that, because that math took me down. But you were determined. You was gonna help me with that math, and I was gonna finish school, and yeah, that first degree, boy, it was up for debate on that one, cause
but you
I was ready to throw in the towel all over some math problems because I hate it.
But you did it.
I done it with help. You know, I'm all about celebrating people. Had it not been for you, it probably wouldn't have got done.
Again, I'm proud of you. And thank you for this conversation. Again, I don't just, this is for the people that watch. I don't just do this just to do it. I'm strategic. I know who I want to talk to about what I want to talk to about. And this conversation I knew had to be had, and it can go on for more. And I'm pretty sure I'll have you back sometime later in the future to discuss some more aspects and things that are underlined with mental health, just because this is not a one-off. It's not something that you say, well, yeah, we watched the podcast, she told us this, we heard this, she said this, now we should go do this. Like, it's things that are going to continue to happen and continue to grow, and hopefully we can continue to discuss it, because I think these conversations have to be just as important as the conversations that don't have any substance, that are taking over the world right now. So I thank you for your time.
Absolutely.
Before we go, where can people find you? I know you're in Greensboro, North Carolina, of course. Where can people find you? Can they contact you directly? Social media, drop all links, all ways of contact, things like that.
So I will tell, this is my second podcast this week because I'm out here doing things. But I've been telling people I'll have a podcast or some kind of, I want to do something weekly where, I do drop facts about different mental illnesses and how they present in the Black community and what these signs and symptoms are, and just make people a little more aware. Hey, this is what's going on, so maybe I should go over here and get some help. So that will be on my professional Facebook page, which is Mary P. Jackson as a clinician. I like to keep my hood ratchet stuff on my other Facebook page because I'm a professional. There's also Instagram. What is my professional Instagram? I think it is as a clinician, or yes, it is as a clinician on Instagram. I don't have Twitter right now. I think I have TikTok, but I ain't never on there. So if anybody sees this and you are looking for a therapist, we're worldwide, and I'm in several different, groups, social settings, stuff like that. If you're looking for a therapist and you don't quite know how to go about it, please feel free to inbox me, DM me. I will do my very best to get you the help that you need, get you the support that you need. There are certain rules and regulations that go per state. So I can't treat somebody that's outside of the state of North Carolina, but I do know people outside of the state of North Carolina that are therapists that can help. So like I said, DM me, inbox me, whatever it is. Hit Quay up. He can put you in contact with me. If you want that help, we are here to help you.
All right. Thank you. Again, yes, hit me up. I'll make sure I do my due diligence to get that done, because again, this is important to me. It's important to Mary, and I want it to be important to all of our people, because we have to help each other to get these generational curses out of us, out of our people, and make sure that our kids are not only monetarily rich, but mentally rich as well.
Amen.
Thank you. I appreciate it. This, to me, no disrespect to the homies that I've had on before, but this is the podcast that I have enjoyed the most, because I've been a student. I've had questions, but I've been a student. I've been learning, because this is, again, I haven't always been this open about mental health and understanding of mental health, because it was new. It wasn't something that I was taught as a child. It was something I had to learn as an adult. But I took that road to learn it, because I know how it would affect me, those around me, and those to come. So thank you again. I appreciate it. And this is the Quality Time Podcast with Quay and Miss Mary Jackson, the lady.
Come talk to the lady.
They ask for greatness, I promise perfection. Mama birthed the king, immaculate conception. I survived in the darkness and the shadows of death. And through all that I prospered, they formed every weapon, but I came so thorough. Never changed my wardrobe took every scar with honor. I was raised in the borough, now I'm giving to me from the belly of the beast. I'm just paying respects, I'm just speaking my piece.